Good morning, wrestling fans. Welcome to PWR today, August 19th, 2020. It's Wednesday morning. It's the man they call Meathead, and a little bit different this morning. You know, we've got Matthew Thomas joining us, of course. And normally what you're hearing on a Wednesday morning is you're hearing Matthew and Meathead get psyched, get ready for, two different shows at the same time. We got the Wednesday Night Wars. We got NXT. We got AEW. And there's no AEW tonight. NBA basketball in full effect. So tonight is strictly NXT. We got a little bit of that. We're going to talk a little bit of Tina Turner and Mel Gibson's Thunderdome coming up. Morning, Matthew.
Good morning, but it doesn't mean we still can't cover two shows. I mean, we can cover NXT and say Full House tonight, for example.
We could, yeah. We could cover Full House. We could also cover Joey Lawrence and Blossom. I mean, we could do all sorts of things that we're not going to do. We're going to talk about that instead. Again, we talked about over the last couple of days the issue that happened on Sunday with Sonya Deville in Florida. Matthew, you read up on that?
I sure did.
Holy smokes, dude. Holy smokes. I mean, again, when you read that and you think, well, what could have happened? He could have got his ass kicked by Sonya. Something could have happened to Sonya. I mean, all sorts of different stuff. I'm glad it ended up in the outcome it did, where Sonya and friend are safe, and this man is behind bars, hopefully for a long time, because that's an issue.
It's just a scary situation, and it makes you realize how unfortunately easily attainable personal information is in this day and age for somebody who really wants to do somebody harm. So glad the situation turned out like it did, and I must say I'm quite embarrassed. The guy's last name was Thomas. What's up with that?
Hey, and he was from the Carolinas too. Aren't you from that area? Tobacco area?
I spent a good deal of time there. I did.
Not a long lost relative, I hope.
No relation whatsoever. Nope. We're just going to go right ahead and expunge that speculation right now.
10-4. Sounds good. All right. I don't want to expunge any more. I want to talk about Tina Turner and Mel Gibson.
You got it, dude.
We're going to let that one sit there and marinate for a second. Thunderdome. When I first saw this and I first read about this, I think it was you and I that were talking about the possibility of them getting something at the Amway Center. It might have been Linda and I on Sunday night, but it's real. It's happening. It's the Amway Center is going to be hosting shows. Didn't we say, I think it was Payback that was going to be showing up at the Amway Center. We didn't know why or how, but Thunderdome is coming. Quickly.
So the news had broke when we talked on Friday. I think that they were going to be running, that I believe it was at the time we had heard that SummerSlam and subsequent shows at Amway, and nobody really knew into what capacity. But yeah, we got the announcement. I guess it was Monday morning of kind of this live interactive fan deal, and I'll be honest. I mean, I've read the press release and this, that, and the other. I still have no idea what to expect as far as the actual fan involvement goes.
So here's the ironic part. So it probably was made to be an assumption, but on WWE.com, when you click on Thunderdome and their page, they are still keeping NXT at full sale at the Performance Center. So they're not moving. This is just going to be Raw, SmackDown, and pay-per-views technically are going to be happening at the Amway Center.
Yeah, I'm excited. It's a change of scenery. I don't know exactly what it is going to entail. I mean, you are going to be able most likely to have a much higher production level value. I imagine it looking something akin to what we are seeing with AEW on a weekly basis. Having a full arena, it's having a full arena and no fans. I mean, I know the press release mentioned, drones around the arena. I think there's a really good chance here for a very interesting, different looking product. And I mean, had this had been what they had gone to initially, it's one thing, but coming out of all of these Performance Center shows, I think it's now it's a chance for the fans to feel refreshed and to see something different. So really excited to see what we see starting this Friday night on SmackDown. I believe SmackDown is going to be the first official Thunderdome show, if I'm not mistaken.
It is, and we'll talk about it Friday morning as well. You and I will have that going. Here's the weird thing that kind of strikes me, and this is straight from WWE's website. WWE's Amway Center residency will continue for the foreseeable future, and Raw and SmackDown and pay-per-view programming will be produced on closed sets with only essential personnel in attendance. WWE will continue to administer its health and safety protocols for talent, crew, and employees in conjunction with each production, including PCR testing for COVID-19, social distancing, and wearing masks. I have a question for you, Matthew, and I have a question for all of our listeners, and I'm nitpicking here, but I think I have I've got a dog in this fight. If there's no rules in Raw Underground, does that mean everybody around the ring doesn't have to wear masks?
There are no rules, so I mean that's only logical.
Well, Shane said there was a rule last Monday. The only rule is you got to fight.
Mm-hmm. No, I think Raw Underground is completely free of any type of rules or jurisdiction.
The guy at the door doesn't wear a mask. Shane doesn't wear a mask, and he's outside.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
This is me nitpicking again, folks. So don't take this too seriously. But I mean, the whole mask gimmick, I'm not a fan. You guys have probably heard me talk about this before. If I were to fart through my underwear and through my jeans, it's still getting out.
Do Retribution, did their disguises qualify as masks?
Technically, they have their face covered, don't they?
Yep. I think you're right.
Well, I mean, really, the guideline for mask is to cover your two orifices, the nose and the mouth. Even though the eyeball, the anus, all of that.
I was gonna go ear, but we go straight to anus. Okay.
Yeah, they're still open. So I mean, the eyeballs are open, ears are open. So it is what it is, folks. Again, I do this mostly in jest, and I got jokes, but I mean, with every joke, there's a tiny shred of truth inside each one of these. I thought I'd, stay in your realm there, Matthew. So I thought I'd throw that out there.
Yeah. No, you did a really good job of staying right there in that realm. Yeah, it's much appreciated. It's much appreciated.
Folks, if you haven't yet, get to www.wwethunderdome.com. Matthew, have you signed up to be a virtual fan?
Not yet, but it's on my to-do list.
Okay. Apparently, courtesy of Dave Hero, he said that Damian and Linda Kay are going to be on SmackDown.
That's wonderful news. Do we have their seat assignments?
No, it's probably going to be one tiny little screen in section Jabroni 19 and Jabroni 20. I have no idea.
So, are we gonna see? I'm assuming we're seeing people's reactions live. Is that kind of the whole deal? Yeah,
could be. Who's to say? I really don't know. I wouldn't say excited is the word I want to use, but very intrigued. I'm curious. My curiosity has been piqued.
Can we bring signs?
Isn't your face the sign? How much screen do you think you're going to get?
A lot.
Maybe. Maybe. I was joking around with Dave and I was joking around with Linda, and, it's still kind of on the top of my head because I couldn't believe how, young Meathead looked. But I watched that Raw from 1999, the week after Jericho debuted, which was August 10th for us in Milwaukee because it was a tape Raw, but it aired August 16th. Dude, that place was full of signs, not just because it was Milwaukee, because it was 1999. Yeah. All I saw was signs. They were everywhere. People were into the show. Even before COVID happened. Do you really see signs?
Isn't it amazing going back and watching Raw or pay-per-views from that period? It is a sea of signs. It is insane. And it's insane to see what was actually allowed in the building. Going back and looking at that stuff, they seem to be playing really, really loose with what they let in. Far removed from the days now where anything that would even hint at controversy is probably confiscated. But yeah, going back and watching those old shows and pay-per-views, just the quantity of signs it's unbelievable.
Tesla covered a song about it. Signs everywhere, the signs blocking up the scenery, breaking my mind.
Didn't realize Elon Musk had a band.
Yeah. Speaking of controversy, controversy. Let's talk about Velveteen Dream. not because he's mired in controversy anymore. Per Triple H, the EVP, says they did an investigation and they found nothing. Yes, he was also out due to a car accident, but he was out during that time and being investigated. Well, he's back and he returned last week, and he's got a big match coming up tonight against Finn Balor for a spot at TakeOver 30. Also, we're going to have Johnny Gargano clashing with Holland for a North American title opportunity. And Swerve is going to join forces with Breezango to battle Legado del Fantasma. Your thoughts on NXT going competition free tonight?
Yeah, I mean, this is our go home to TakeOver. I think what you're going to see is a lot of build to the show that we have got on Saturday. So I'm really intrigued by the ladder match for the North American title. I mean, that to me, that's what I'm looking forward to on the show. So I look forward to continuing seeing that build and the fallout from the Keith Lee angle.
Yeah, and the Keith Lee angle is big. It's hot. I mean, no pun intended with the hot because of the heat, but Keith Lee had to go to the medical facility after he got the fireball in the eye. Luckily he didn't have a mask on. That could have started on fire too.
Oh, you're exactly right. And it kind of makes you think twice about reading now, right? I mean, he got it when he opened up the book per se, but I mean, it really...
Kids, I hope you're listening. Reading is evil.
Because you might open a book and take a giant fireball to the face.
That's exactly the message they're trying to get across. Plus, apparently, we're going to have a face-to-face with Pat McAfee and Adam Cole.
Yeah, crazy with Cole. I mean, because you've got, here with the McAfee angle. I mean, McAfee is clearly the heel in this feud, but yet you've got Cole last week in full heel mode with his buddies, just attacking everybody. So very interesting booking what they're doing with Cole here.
Right. It's kind of tough because, I mean, really wrestling business wise, Adam Cole should be the face in this because the outsider is coming in and going after their business. Adam Cole is not, I mean, he's the face technically in this match, the wrestler versus the other sports athlete. But Adam Cole has been acting as if he's a heel still with the groups he works with. And it just doesn't make sense to me. That particular, I mean, it's an oddball pairing. I want Pat McAfee in here. I think he's going to be entertaining for a little bit. I mean, he can't wrestle, obviously, or maybe he can do a move here or there. Triple H kind of called him out, and it was a work interview, but a little bit of shoot in it as well. It says, look, Pat McAfee's wanted to be a wrestler his entire life. Granted, the guy was, all-decade punter for the Indianapolis Colts, and he went off and did his other athletic and, ventures, but he's always wanted to be a wrestler. And now, Pat, we're going to make your dreams come true, and trust me, they're going to probably turn out to be nightmares because Adam Cole should work this kid over.
Or this is simply step one into the build for McAfee Mongo at WrestleMania next year.
Will the dog be involved?
There's a good chance.
So that Raw that I was watching again from August 16th, 1999, Al Snow was carrying around Pepper.
Oh, man.
First thing King says was, whoa, what are you doing? The dog's peeing on me.
That was back before Pepper was served with some pepper. Right?
Yes, yeah, because he had issues with Boss Man. JR yells, "Did you get that cheese foam crown Scotch Guard?"
Boss Man was just a gem around that time period. He was barbecuing dogs and he was interrupting the funerals of people's fathers and taking off with the casket. I mean, he was in rare form, man.
Kennel in a Cell match. Unbelievable. I always had the misunderstanding that that Hell in a Cell, the Kennel in a Cell, was at WrestleMania. It was not. But I mean, worth going back and watch it. Just unbelievable. Again, young Meathead in there too, so it's just fun to go back and take a look at that. Matthew, one of the things I wanted to kind of point out too is, did we talk about this? I didn't believe that Velveteen Dream was actually one of the guys from the last edition of Tough Enough.
Yeah, I mean, it took me quite a while to realize that's who it was. And I can't remember if it finally dawned on me one day or if somebody had to point it out. But my goodness, such a drastic transformation. I mean, because from what I remember on that season of Tough Enough, he was, came across with a lot of talent, but Velveteen Dream, just a completely different character than what we saw during that reality show. So, you're exactly right.
Now, I may be off, but I believe Mandy Rose is from that class as well.
You might be right. I know Billy Kay's from that class, right?
You might be right as
I'm
well.
almost positive on that.
That, we're going to have to take a look at that because we might have to check that out. Mandy Rose, obviously, with a big match coming up this Sunday against Sonya Deville. I don't know. That sounds like it. It's one of those things where the person who wins, right? I mean, they're the one that you think is going to get the better thing, but really pay attention to the other competitors because they'll show up in wrestling in the next 3-4 years. They probably already all have, contracts to begin with.
Well, and I mean, a lot of times too, I feel like that winner, whether it's the pressure that's put on or what, a lot of cases it doesn't work out. Now, was that the season that man, what was the guy's moniker? Was it like Hard Justice or something? You know what I'm talking about? The guy that won it.
Well, the guy that won was Josh Brettel. I mean, big, tall Kevin Nash looking dude.
Yeah,
I mean, I thought he had the look.
And his name wasn't Hard Justice.
He went by Bronson Matthews.
I'll have to Google Hard Justice and see where I got that name from.
Yeah, I don't know. Hard Justice, that might be a TNA pay-per-view, to be honest with you. I think that is a TNA pay-per-view.
Well, there you go.
Now, Mandy Rose, she had made her in-ring debut in NXT in a 6-woman tag match at a live event in Venice, Florida. She also teamed with Alexa Bliss in that, defeated by Carmella, Liv Morgan, and Nikki Glencross. Nikki Glencross, not Nikki Cross. So it's, again, pay attention to who's in these competitions. I would love to see another Tough Enough come up. That Tough Enough that I'm talking about was the one that Jericho hosted. And Hogan was on the panel as well, and then Hogan got pulled off because of the things that he said.
Man, the last one that I'm remembering was Paige, and
Paige was on that one too.
Was that the one? Okay, so I guess it's the same season I'm thinking about.
Yeah, it was season 6, I think. I mean, because there were some Tough Enoughs that didn't make it to TV that I could tell. I mean, because I thought I watched every Tough Enough that was on there. I mean, think about it. Who won season 1? I know who won season 1. Can you name him?
Was that Maven?
Maven was the male.
That's all I got.
Nydia.
Oh.
And that was not the internet that told me that one. Nydia won season 1, female. She was the one that got blinded by Jamie Noble.
That's right.
But yeah, Tough Enough was fun. I mean, obviously the Miz came from Tough Enough. Ryback was a Tough Enough guy.
He was the inaugural season of Tough Enough, wasn't he?
Who, Ryback?
He was early Tough Enough, yeah.
No. Ryback was, I believe, season 3.
Okay.
The guys that came out at Josh Matthews, who is still the the play-by-play for Impact Wrestling, came out of season 1 of Tough Enough.
Interesting. And I'm assuming all those seasons are available on the network now, right?
I got to assume. I mean, this isn't a plug for the network, but we got to assume that they're there.
Yeah. Now, definitely worth going back and watching. That's for sure.
Absolutely. All right, Matthew. Well, tonight, again, NXT, we've got wrestling action. This Saturday is going to be when AEW Dynamite is going to air. It'll be at 6 p.m. Eastern, I believe. Otherwise, after the NBA, when it finally goes off the air. So if they go long, it'll be directly after. It has been taped. There are spoilers on the internet. That's your choice to read about them, look them up. We will not give them to you. So I do know that there's matches out there. There is a match, I believe, between Cody and Brody Lee. There's some other matches that are going on as well. I thought there was a tag team match that's going on. But yeah, if you choose to look them up, that's up to you. I choose not to. We'll talk on Friday morning about the Dynamite coming up for Saturday. And again, big wrestling weekend happening. That Dynamite that's going to be airing at 5 o'clock Central, 6 o'clock Eastern, will be going for about an hour head-to-head with NXT 30 TakeOver. Then Sunday, we've got WWE SummerSlam. The following week, we're going to have WWE Payback. The following week after that, AEW's All Out. We have got lots and lots of wrestling action coming up. The PWR draft is going on as well. I mean, the accounting firm of Dewey, Cheatham & Howe is going to be putting in overtime the next month, doing videos and getting everything out there. Matthew, I wish you would. I honestly wish you would have been around for the draft because I need some competition.
Well, here's the thing, that's when I was still in my PWR sabbatical, but I do have an update. I've got a fantasy giraffe update, not a draft, DRAFT, giraffe as in giraffe. So, because I don't have any, stake in the draft per se, I have actually created my very own fantasy giraffe, in other words, a make-believe giraffe. And so, I think what I'll do each week is I'll actually give you updates on what my fantasy giraffe is doing. So, for example, this past weekend, I fed my fantasy giraffe.
I wish I had Damian Nelson's crickets right now.
He'll be on tomorrow, though, right?
We should have Damian Nelson tomorrow morning. I'd like to call in and have Damian just come in and just don't even talk, Damian. Just turn your phone on so we can have the crickets right after your fantasy giraffe.
So tune in next Wednesday for another fantasy giraffe update from Matthew Thomas.
Yeah. Good stuff. Good stuff. All right. For Matthew Thomas, I'm the man they call Meathead. Hey, make sure you're stopping by all the websites. Like, subscribe, get notifications when new videos are popping up. I know we got some Beat a Booker stuff coming up as well on the Super Show with Damian Nelson, Dave Hero, and Shane Helms. That'll be tomorrow night. So for Matthew, I'm Meathead. Thanks for stopping by. So long, everyone.